Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am back with day 16 of Follow a Sketch February, which is through Scrapping Reflections on Facebook or State Goddess on YouTube. And so every day this month we have a sketch that we have been creating in our own way. Some double layouts, some multiple layers, multiple pictures, single pictures, just a montage. We even had a couple of cards that we have gone through. So today is this one. It is a double spread. It looks like a page map. I can't tell. It doesn't say that, but it has like the same font that Page Maps uses, but I don't know. So it does have 6 pictures, some journaling, a title and a subtitle, some embellishment clusters, and some layers. So I don't have 6 pictures, but I have some things that will kind of still go in these similar places. So this is the paper pad I have decided to use, and that is about the only decision I have made other than the pictures. So I pulled a couple embellishments, honestly, not too many. If you couldn't tell, this is going to be about food. My son had a really good day at school and received this award for a free meal at a restaurant. And so he sent me a picture and asked if we could go. And so we went there for dinner that night. I got a couple of pictures of him at the restaurant. And then I also have this picture of an email I got later from another teacher telling me he had had a really good day. And so I went ahead and printed that out. I have the receipts from the restaurant, and then we went to get milkshakes afterwards, thinking that they'd have cookies or something, because he can't have milkshake. And they didn't, so we went and picked up some donuts for him. So I have receipts from all of that I will either incorporate or find a place to put a pocket to tuck those in. And then I thought, since he had chicken and fries and a soda and a little fancy drink, that I might use these. We went and got donuts, so I've got those. So this is as much as I have pulled out. And this is, I'll flip through this carefully because it's falling apart, if you couldn't tell. I have used a few pages out of here. It's not necessarily the easiest unless you're scrapbooking elementary school lunch. So there's lots of food, cookies, bananas, the lunchbox. I love this paper. It is a very interesting hodgepodge of papers. So I am going to find a way to incorporate these papers, and of course some of these embellishments and all of my pictures and ephemera, and do my very best to mostly stick to this sketch. So we shall see how that goes. So I have my papers, I have some embellishments, I've got some pictures and a sketch. So let's see how this goes. So the first thing I did was go through the paper pad. I wanted to see if I could find either 2 matching pages that I could work with as my background, or 2 pages that were going to work well together. So I knew I wanted to use part of this paper because there is that big strip of journaling down the right layout. So I thought I'd use that. I did decide to use these 2 pieces of toast paper because the majority of the background will be covered and the little face at the bottom will be covered. So I didn't have to worry about it actually looking like a piece of toast necessarily, even though it won't matter. So, because it is a food layout. So when I'm doing a double layout, it's hard to leave that little extra layout that I printed out sitting to where you all can see it while I work. So it gets moved around a few times, and then it finally stands up in front of me instead of being in your all's vision. Sorry about that. So I trimmed down the journaling to about 4 inches. And yes, there's some food visible on the top and bottom, but that's going to go away. So this is the lockers, that stripe right there on the left layout. Those are lockers, but you can't tell because they are turned on their side and the little circles are gone, although the paper will come back in a little bit. And so far, except for the 2 main pages, these are scraps I'm using, which is my goal for 2022, is to use multiple scraps on every layout. And I achieved that because both of these are scraps. And I use some more coming up. So that makes me happy. That is a cut apart from that paper pad, Lunchbox Friends. It says, "Don't doubt yourself," which is perfect. So now I'm just laying things out to kind of get an idea for where I want things to go and how much space I'm going to have. So this is the second time I have tried to record this video. The first time I forgot to cover up my son's teacher's name as well as his school, which is in her signature line at the bottom. So I had to go back and redo it. So anywho, that's okay. So I found this branding strip, border strip, that says "It's always snack time in my heart," which is super, super true with my kiddo. And I decided to put it up at the top. If for no other reason, there is like a dark, like a border at the top of this layout on the left side. It is underneath the strip of paper, but I put it on the top because obviously that sentence isn't going to make any sense if the word "always" and "snack" are covered. It would have said "It's time in my heart," which would be weird. So I put that on top of the striped paper, and I really do love that striped paper. And I love the other one that I had pointed out earlier that's got the shiny to it, and you will see that on this layout as well. So all my favorite things. So I get this started, and I know in the top of that picture on the matted paper, you can see a little bit of the waffle. I'm okay with that because in the sketch, there is a long dark strip right on top of the pictures. And so I am just going to cover that up with some washi tape when the time comes. And you're going to see that happen here in just a second. First, I want to get this tape down, and I try not to tape all 4 corners unless I know I'm going to be getting it covered. Like I know the washi is going to cover the top right now, so I want to make sure I get that tacked down. But I try and leave them loose until I'm done so that I can tuck things. So I'm straightening up my space a little. It is a mess. It's hard to do double layouts. I don't do them very often. I don't know why, I just don't. Maybe because of this. So I get the blue washi tape and I just stretch it straight across the top. And then there's still a little bit of that waffle paper showing. So I just take a small strip. I don't want another full strip across. I just want this small strip, and a lot of that gets covered up. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And it looks good when it's all said and done. So just tuck that washi around. And so now you can't see the waffle paper. See, I am really good at covering that stuff up. I've done that a lot with this paper. Lots of crazy papers. So I put down the award, the picture of the award, and I lay it over the washi tape and up a little bit. It's very similar to the way it is in the sketch. In the sketch, it is 2 photos, horizontal photos on top of each other, where I have the one 4x6. But other than that, this side is very similar to the actual sketch. Go me. However, there's blocks of paper don't come all the way down, and I wanted mine to come down for 2 reasons. One, I like it taking that space. I didn't want that tan everywhere. And 2, I needed to cover the face up of the toast. So now I've moved to the right layout. I moved the left one out of the way so I'd have some room. And I am trying to decide where I want to put this strip that goes up at the top. And first I'm going to cover that, the fruits and veggies or whatever food was up there with the little donut Doubt Yourself. And then I am going to slightly tuck this striped paper under so that it fully goes across. And it's hard to line it up because there's that curve from the top of the toast, but I get it reasonably straight. I eyeball everything. I very rarely measure unless it's going to completely mess up something. So I usually don't do too many layouts that are so precise that you have to measure. So I get that striped paper down, and now I am putting some tape on the back of the branding strip, I think. I can't see. Yep, the branding strip. It's got little hearts on either end, and the hearts have little seeds like strawberries. I'm okay with that. And there was no strawberries involved in our evening, but that's okay. But I thought that it was cute, and I felt like I was going to have a little extra journaling to do, and I was correct. So I get the award, the actual award. I matted it on that. You probably saw the paper that had the lunchbox, and I gutted the green out of that because I wanted to make sure that green is consistent with the colors in the paper. So I used a piece of that under the picture over on the right side, or on the left side, and then I used the rest of it to mat this award. And then I used some of the locker paper to mat the picture on the top, and then that really lovely striped paper to mat the email picture. So right there underneath the picture of the award and the in that space on the left, that green, that teal color is from the lunchbox. I gutted the inside of the lunchbox. And I felt like that was going to bring that color and those papers on both sides. And then using this paper that I've got right here, which is the rest of the lockers, is going to bring the right and left of the left layout together, as well as I matted that smaller picture on the right layout with this paper as well. Left, right, left, right. I mean, goodness. So I try and have the same papers on both layouts so that it is fluent and fluid. It's after midnight, you all. And while I don't go to bed till after 1 o'clock, I am tired. It's been a crazy day. And I went to the dentist today. Ugh. No offense, Dr. Johnson. So I am putting the same washi tape above the striped paper so that that is consistent from side to side. And in the sketch, it kind of looks like it's not straight across, so I think that this is going to work out fine, and look, I think it looks good. Brings that same dark blue into this right layout as well. And then I have these two little cut aparts that I pulled off, three actually. One says Crunch Time, not that you can't read that, and I use that as my subtitle because that Donut Doubt Yourself is the actual title. And I cut this little snacks thing, and I'm trying to decide where I want to put that. And I'm going to end up tucking it up at the top on that green striped paper because that's where I'm going to put a cluster. There's clusters, like floral clusters on this sketch. And that right there that I'm tucking in is another little tag. It has blueberries on it. I tucked the blueberries in. You can't see them. All is well. So I'm going to use that tag in a little while for the date. And that way I can have that entire strip of paper to put the journaling on. So I got my donuts out, which are 3D donuts from the Paper Studio. I love these dimensional stickers. They are so fun. And so I put a couple of them on here. One at the top by the donut, Doubt Yourself, and one at the top far right. And that's where that cluster is going to build. It's mostly flat, but that donut adds some dimension. I put the chicken and the french fries and the soda up there because that's what my son had for dinner. And then I'm going to add a little something else up there in a little bit. And then I put that little burger down there, which is part of what he could have had, but that's what my husband had. Maybe what I had. I can't even remember. That was only like 2 weeks ago, you all. So I get this box out, and this is my school box. And I pulled out anything that was like, well done, good job, all those kinds of affirmations. And this says super student, and I'm going to put that down on the blueberry tag. And where I'm going to put my date, but I leave plenty of space for that. And then I have this A+ award, and I think I'm going to put it here. I changed my mind, but for now it's going to sit there. And then I have these little like shooting stars. One that I put down just now says fantastic, and then I get another one and put it up there in the cluster to finish that cluster off up there. And then I have this super smart sticker that I pulled off of just a random sticker sheet. And then I decided that I wanted a cluster here as well, because there's one on the sketch, but I'm not doing florals. I didn't want to do another food cluster, and I decided to use some of the scraps that I had left and my Creative Memories circle punch, and I punched out about 5 or 6 circles and just layer them up. And then I decided to use my Nuvo Deluxe glue and put that A+ tag over there. So I love the way that turned out. And now I'm putting the date down. I did pull out my Muji pen to write the date, and I felt like it was going to be too small for the open space. So I got these alphas, which are, I believe, Stickopotamus alphas, and they're the varsity ones. So I put those down instead. And I just put the year, Stickabilities. I just put the day, the month and the day, because this is going to go in my 2022 chronological book, so I won't need a year. So the next step is journaling. So I do get my red Muji pen out and I start journaling, and I just write about how my son called me from school or texted me, told me he wanted to go to eat and why, and so we went. And it just has the story about going, and it was snowing, and which you can tell in the pictures, obviously. And then I used the rest of that journaling border strip at the bottom to write about the email that I got from his teacher when we got home. I decided after that there was this huge open space in the bottom of the left layout, and I just needed something there. So I cut a few more circles out of my scraps, and I tucked a few underneath that date, and then I just kind of used up the rest of the scraps and cut and put them in different places around there, so it didn't seem so odd to have 2 clusters of these cut circles on my left layout, but none on my right. And then I also add the one more strip of the washi tape on the bottom of the left. I just felt like it really needed something, and it still feels empty to me, so I'm going to fix that. And I just was thinking, like, what else can I put here? So I pull out my Tim Holtz. This is the Small Talk by Ideology, and I add a few different ones on both sides. Live your dream with passion. When you know better, do better. He'd been in trouble that week, and so he was making better choices. You are capable of becoming more than you realize. Those are on the left side. And on the right, it says take risks, because we were driving in dangerous weather in the snow. Out of limitations comes creativity. And then we are fearless, independent, and original. So I decided to finish off my layout with some Park Lane enamel dots in multiple colors. They're not exactly the colors that are in this layout, but they are pretty darn close. And I love these enamel dots. They are very vibrant, and so that's it. There's the sketch, and I'm going to show you some up close. I hope you all have enjoyed this kind of random crazy layouts, and I hope you all will come back. So I hope you get a chance today to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping!